On Southern Cross's must-see Sunday, we didn't practice with this dare. And we didn't with this one either. Because sometimes even practice goes wrong. Now for the real thing. Who Dares wins Sunday on Southern Cross.
Next on Home and Away.
They think Stephen lied. They think he tried to kill Fisher.
Will the real story ever come out?
You've got to go to the police and tell them the truth.
And busted with a trashed house.
Wow, what happened?
In the next episode of Home and Away.
You know we belong together. You and I forever and ever. Until the end of time. I'm yours and you are mine. Relive all the action and excitement. Targa Tasmania with Steve Titmus is coming up next. And it's almost here. The television event of '97 is on Sunday night. The most ambitious movie ever made premieres over 2 big nights. From the makers of Predator, Daylight and Courage Under Fire comes a marathon of thrills. Take Cover, Asteroid Strikes, 8:30 Sunday and concluding Monday. And only on Southern Cross. Tonight on Southern Cross at 7:30, relive Targa Tasmania. Then at 8:30, Friday Night Football, West Coast versus Carlton.
Everyone's hopes on the cross.
Targa Tasmania 1997, proudly presented by your local Mitsubishi dealer, Bass and Equitable, and Norvac Gas statewide.
The first practical motor vehicle was invented in 1886 by Carl Benz. This latest creation from Mercedes-Benz is a far cry from that first automobile. Car enthusiasts throughout the world have always had a desire to drive cars in competition on the open road. The Australian island state of Tasmania is one of the world's best-kept secrets. Its lifestyle idyllic, its majestic beauty and challenging roads lure owners and enthusiasts of the world's most desirable cars to the state each April. The ultimate dream of all drivers was created in 1992 when Targa Tasmania was specially created to take advantage of the unique aspects of Tasmania. A competition on tarmac roads for the best sports, classic and GT cars in the world over 6 days and 2,000 kilometres. Its origins are from the famous European races and rallies of yesterday, the Targa Florio, Mille Miglia and Coupe d'Alpe. The word Targa comes from the Sicilian word for plate. Wealthy Italian Vincenzo Florio donated trophies bearing his family's crest for the Targa Florio.
Just relax, Mum.
A nervous beginning to the first Targa Tasmania in 1992. Since then, star-studded lineups each year. Over the years, the event has attracted captains of industry, TV personalities, independent businessmen and retired entrepreneurs in beautiful cars. Plus, it's attracted Australia's best and some of the world's greats like triple world Formula One champion Sir Jack Brabham, the late Denny Hulme, Italy's Sandro Minari, Germany's Jochen Muss and Englishman Sterling Moss.
Overall terrific. I mean, absolutely the finest of its type I've ever done. I mean, the roads and the enthusiasm of the people and the whole concept of the thing, it was absolutely sensational.
Cars have come in all shapes and sizes, from the inexpensive to the classics and the latest Ferraris and Porsches. Plus the best that Japan has to offer, including the competition debut of the Toyota Celica GT4. Local heroes Greg Crick and Greg Priest in a Honda NSX won the first two events. In 1993, organisers introduced the very popular outright winner on handicap, meaning overall success in the event wasn't just a possibility for the fastest. Targa Tasmania is unique, unrivalled in modern motoring. 1997 assembled another star-studded lineup of national and international faces and cars. Another year that promised the unpredictable.
Tonight on footy's home ground, the West Coast Eagles meet Carlton's Blues. Two big guns, 8:30 tonight.
Introducing the new Magna Wagon, stylish on the outside and jumbo-sized on the inside. With extra safety features like the new Tri-Safe rear seat, with a passenger protection panel, plus a centre lap sash seat belt, and all the handling and performance of the award-winning Magna sedan. So you won't know you're driving a wagon unless you look in the trunk.
Can we keep him clean?
The new Mitsubishi Magna Wagon.
Look at all the home loans. They're all the same.
In Tasmania, we're lucky. We have our own building society, and its whole reason for being here is to lend money for housing. Bass and Equitable lends millions of dollars each year to Tasmanians, and Bass and Equitable can offer you a variety of home loan packages. And we're friendly, local people. If you're looking for a home loan right now, come and see us, Bass and Equitable. Our home loans aren't the same.
Norvac Distributors introduce Norvac Gas. Norvac Gas, your first choice for all applications.
And because it's from Norvac, you can be assured of dependability and terrific service. There you go, mate.
All right, thanks.
Because Norvac Gas is big enough to have as much gas as you need and small enough to still care about you. Some might say that sounds a bit like me. Norvac's been around longer than I've been wood chopping, and they're still doing what they do best. Give Norvac Gas a go.
Call your nearest Norvac distributor statewide.
Today's lucky winner in the Ulverston Christmas in June promotion is Lynn Mason of Castro Road, Ulverston. You have won $500 in cash. Only one day to go. Shop in Ulverston and you too could be a winner.
On Southern Cross's must-see Sunday, we didn't practice with this stair. And we didn't with this one either. Because sometimes even practice goes wrong. Now for the real thing. Who Dares wins Sunday on Southern Cross.
Southern Cross Nightly News. First at 6.
The spirit of Tasmania arrived in routine in Devonport carrying the special cargo of 150 cars from around Australia and overseas. Once the doors were open, the carnival build-up to the event began.
The multi-million-dollar mobile motor show is back in town for the 6th time.
The new arrivals travelled to Launceston and joined the local entries at the Silverdome for the Targa Expo, where all cars were checked for final safety and technical identity. The 2 days and nights leading up to the event were filled with competitor functions and briefings, a welcoming cocktail party and an international competitor breakfast, all centred around the event headquarters, the Country Club Hotel Casino. The big name from overseas was twice World Rally Champion Walter Roll, driving a 1982 Porsche 911 CSRS from the Porsche Museum in Stuttgart. What does it mean to you coming to compete in an event like this? You know, you do a lot of driving of a lot of Porsche cars, like Porsche Cup cars you've tested and all those sorts of things. What does it mean to you to come and do an event like Targa Tasmania?
Yeah, especially our director of the museum, Klaus Bischoff, told me, you want to have some holiday, you have to come with me to Tasmania. It's a beautiful country and you will enjoy it.
His car hadn't been driven for 16 years. His co-driver, German television executive Michael Russ, was also event inexperienced.
We never have been really thinking to come here to win or something like this. This car is 15 years old and I just take it here very easily.
Roll's Porsche, one of 13 international entries, including 4 MGs entered by a Japanese team, whose members regularly compete in a one-make MGF series in Japan.
He says since he's left Japan, he's been very excited and looking forward to Targa, and his heart's been racing since then.
Each year, the start unfolds at the Launceston Country Club Casino.
I declare the course of Targa Tasmania 1997 open for action. Gentlemen, in car number 1, start your engine.
Local Tasmanian and Federal Sports Minister Warwick Smith proudly dropped the starting flag, and the flag car, a rare 1936 Jaguar SS100, led away the field, a mouth-watering trail of automotive history spanning 60 years. The cars head to Georgetown, 30 kilometres to the north, for the BHP Temco Prologue, a short Targa stage through the town streets against the clock to establish the start order seating for the next 5 days of competition, fastest to the rear. Spectators get a chance to see the variety of vehicles entered, from classic oldies to technologically advanced speed machines of the 1990s. The first car on the circuit was the 1936 Jaguar SS100 of Japanese visitor Yoshiyuki Karatsu and navigator Malcolm Rossiter, and it attracted plenty of interest.
The first car apparently made to exceed 100 miles an hour back in its day. It's got some speed rating of 125 miles an hour, but I doubt if we'll see that much. It's a bit jumpy around the 100 mile an hour mark, so I doubt if we'll get that high, but and outside that's just a lovely, easygoing sports sedan of its time.
The Prologue Targa stage is tight and twisty and ready to bring the overzealous driver undone. As the field weaved its way through the 9 categories, a marked increase in speed was evident. The 1991 Nissan Skyline of Russell Patterson had early problems. Victorian textile manufacturers Max and Georgia Warwick turned heads in their Porsche 911 RSCS, but for the wrong reasons. To start day 1 of competition, a wheel needed to be replaced. And when it comes to crowd pleasers, there's no bigger star than New Zealand's Mark Parsons in his superbly prepared Triumph TR7 V8. He made a clean sweep of the Spectator Awards, as demonstrated going around the outside of Justin and Peter Dickman in their Porsche 924 Carrera GT. He was 7th fastest with a time of 3 minutes and 22 seconds for the 4.7 kilometre Targa stage. Porsches filled the fastest 3 places. The top 2 overall place getters from Targa Tasmania 1996 look set to battle it out this year. Fastest, touring car ace Jim Richards and navigator Barry Oliver in a 1996 911 Turbo.
So it's the same as I had it last year. I've got a little bit better tyre this year in the Falcons, so, you know, we're hoping that it's going to go a little bit better. We'll have to if we want to win.
He was just 0.4 of a second ahead of Ray Lintott and Fred Gacentis in a similar car, with Peter Fitzgerald and Jeremy Brown in a Porsche 968 Turbo RS third. Then came Stephen Johnson, navigated by Tasmanian Zara White, in a Mazda Motorsport RX-7.
Now that the brakes and the tyres are all bedded in, we can have a good go tomorrow.
So she's ready and raring to go?
Yeah, the car's fantastic. The car's going really good.
Jim Richards' time was 3 minutes 13 seconds, 0.4 quicker than Lintott. Then a 5-second gap to Fitzgerald and Johnson. Walter Roll impressed everyone, being in the top 10. The Porsche and Mazda Marks were set to battle for overall honours.
Saturday, the scariest police chases ever captured on film.
Give me an ambulance out here.
The reckless and incredibly dumb things people do on the run. For the first time, World's Scariest Police Chases, Saturday on Southern Cross.
Look at all the home loans. They're all the same.
In Tasmania, we're lucky. We have our own building society, and its whole reason for being here is to lend money for housing. Bass & Equitable lends millions of dollars each year to Tasmanians, and Bass & Equitable can offer you a variety of home loan packages. And we're friendly, local people. If you're looking for a home loan right now, come and see us, Bass & Equitable. Our home loans aren't the same.
We all try to ignore a chip in our windscreen. It doesn't help it go away, though. And it could end up costing you a whole new windscreen. But if you act quickly and call Windscreens O'Brien, we'll check it's safe to repair, according to the Australian standard, then fix it permanently. So well, you'll have trouble seeing where it was, all without replacing your windscreen. And that could save you a lot of money. Call Windscreens O'Brien now for any car, any glass, anywhere.
What are you doing?
What? Yeah, 3 wishes, right? I want a date with Kimberly Davies. Yes!
Oh, Tim Tam. I wish you'd take a hike. Oh, no. One more wish, right?
Yeah.
I want a never-ending pack of Tim Tams.
Arnott's Tim Tam. What more could you want?
On Must See Sunday, take a driving lesson with the world's most outrageous drivers. Catch the Crimson action at the store where they take 100% off everything. Police camera action, 7:30 Sunday.
3, 2, 1, go! Nicely dressed up, thank you, thank you. Someone had to make a statement.
Very nervous.
What's that?
Because we keep getting lost.
Who's the bloke in the back?
That's our adjudicator. His name's Stu. Stu P.
Day 1, 275 kilometres in total, 55 kilometres of Targa stages. A comfortable settling in day through the middle north of the state and returning to Launceston. The course, particularly in the afternoon, goes through valleys that provide exhilarating driving, yet providing a taste of what is to come on the longer days. The day finishes with a thrilling Targa stage around the houses at Longford.
Any nerves before the very first Targa stage with the very first car?
No, not really.
You're confident you'll go well and looking forward to a good day?
All we're going to do is keep it going and keep it running. It's a lovely old car, so we're just here to see Tassie in a nice way.
Unfortunately, the first Targa stage of the event wasn't a happy one for Tasmanians Scott Kent and Greg Lind in their Mustang. They went off just a kilometre into the Targa stage. Scott, explain to me what actually happened.
Well, we just come up around that right-hander there. There's been a lot of gravel picked up on the road through the onto the road by the first few cars coming through, and we hit the gravel and got it a bit sideways and got it back again. I thought I had it under control, but wasn't the case.
The incident galvanised the Kent family. Father Graham, Mum Pat and other brothers Drew and Lee pitched in for an all-night vigil to repair the Mustang to be on the start line the next morning. At the Moriarty Targa stage, the international husband and wife team of Paul Emile and Corinne Bassard from Paris found their 1954 Aston Martin a handful at the tight hairpin halfway through the stage. At the Latrobe Targa stage, a wild ride for New South Welshmen Leslie Taylor and Desmond O'Loughlin in their Jensen Healy.
Anyone know where there's a tow truck?
All okay. They waited for a tow truck to get them back into the event. Overnight repairs would see them back the next day. But this day for them was now all a bit of a yawn.
You had a choice between going up the side or going into the mud. You're happy where you ended up?
Yes, I think it's more so than being down there catching a few crabs, I can tell you. At least this way we'll be able to get the car, change the wheel and, you know, get on with it.
10 minutes later, Sydney's Greg Whiteside and Matt Hunter in a Triumph Stag followed suit at the same spot, but were able to continue, losing 2.5 minutes, blowing their Targa trophy. The Holden Commodore V8 of Sydney's Adam and David Kaplan was on borrowed time after blowing smoke from the early stages. Passing other competition cars that start 30 seconds ahead sometimes happens on a Targa stage, as Howard and Linda Long showed on the Latrobe Targa stage. At the lunch stop, the lead drivers compared times.
Oh, okay. That second one might have come spluttering about 3K.
Oh, really?
You still playing today?
See Rolf taking it easy.
I feel like driving like a grandfather. You know, if you don't know the road, don't know the car, it was standing 16 years somewhere in a museum. You need some time to trust everything, but we have still 4 days to getting used.
Immediately after lunch, the longest Targa stage of the day, 16.5 kilometres running through the hills outside Devonport. A stage that has tricky crests and corners, as Western Australia's Ken Jaffe and Brian Wilkinson found out in their 1971 Porsche 911 RS replica. In an unexpected incident and the worst of the year, the Commodore police back entry of Tasmania police officers Farrell White and Nick Watchorn rolled on the Sheffield Targa stage. They escaped injury when the car came around a corner, became airborne over a bump, went through a fence and rolled 3 times. A write-off.
It's a disappointment on our part, behalf. You know, we're going for a gold Targa trophy and we're going to miss out on that, so there's always next year to start again, I suppose.
You come back next year and do it again?
Certainly will, yes. We probably won't be in a Commodore next year, depends on how we go. We've had to drive that car probably, I suppose, a little bit harder than we would have liked to do the times we were doing. That was a choice we made and it didn't pay off on this particular occasion.
In the previous 2 years of Targa Tasmania, the 2 former driving instructors hadn't even put a scratch on their car and were hoping for a golden Targa trophy. Targa stages are closed road sections designed to test the car and driver without using excessive speeds. There are set minimum times for every stage. Time over the minimum accrues penalties. Time under it doesn't count. It's simply known as cleaning or zeroing the stage. There is also a maximum time for every stage in every class. Beating this time counts towards a Targa trophy. To get a Targa trophy, a crew has to complete all the Targa stages in under the maximum allowable time for the vehicle class. Do that 3 years in a row and win a golden Targa trophy. Win a second set of 3 Targa trophies and you win a platinum trophy. In 1997, the first of the Platinum years, 2 competitors were eligible for the coveted awards. Launceston's Bruce Jessup and Adelaide's Fraser Gascoigne, and they both drove Ferrari V8s. Well, what's been the secret to come back every year and finish every year?
Well, plain old-fashioned good luck, I reckon. Nothing else.
That's a little bit hard to answer because I do all the maintenance on the car myself, so I could be awfully blowing the bags, and at this stage I'd love to touch wood or something to make sure we do get there. But I think it's a matter of driving the road as we see it, not getting too gung-ho about it, and just keeping control of our brains.
Did you enjoy this event?
Yes, fantastic. The weather's a hell of a lot better this year, and we've come back for this is our 6th year, as you well know. And the main reason is the people are so friendly. We have a great time over here, we really do.
While Fraser has always been in his Ferrari 308 GTB, Bruce travelled to his Golden Targa in a Jaguar E-Type. Both were accompanied this year by their 1995 and 1996 navigators. Bruce's companion, car restorer Jeff Smedley, was in line for his 5th Targa trophy in succession. Vince Scanlon, who travelled with Fraser, was hoping to earn a Golden Targa trophy if Fraser achieved his Platinum Targa trophy. There were 41 competitors eligible for a Golden Targa trophy. Targa Tasmania draws competitors of every calibre, from rookie amateurs to legends and world champions. They all have one thing in common: a love of motor vehicles and the desire to drive their cars in a way their manufacturer intended them to be driven. The cars in the event are often a reflection of the owners' personalities. If you look carefully, there's even royalty.
We felt we needed a journey together. We've been apart so long, so we thought we'd better get together and keep the population happy.
In reality, they're Targa regulars from Victoria, the aptly named Peter and Kerith Buckingham. You better reveal your true identity then, because someone might think you're being imposters.
Well, we are Buckinghams, of course. And, of course, as you can see from Buckingham, we do have Buckingham Palace over there, so we're not really imposters.
No, but not a Rolls-Royce or Jaguar, a classic 1963 Porsche 356C. Others, like first-timer Peter Chiavello, heard about the event just a few weeks before the start and couldn't resist the temptation.
Competition. I love competition. and when I get involved in competition, I like to do it properly, so that's a bit of fun, a bit of enjoyment.
There were 24 females in this year's event, 1 in every 10 cars, and 1 all-female crew from Cairns in Queensland.
Targa is something I've followed Targa since the beginning when it first started, and I've wanted to get into rallying for a long time, and it seemed like a good place to start, so here we are, racing.
The final test on the first day was around the houses at Longford, where spectators have another chance, this time in their droves, to cheer on the spectacular drivers and to judge those who make mistakes. To the competition for outright victory, and by the end of the first day, 4 competitors were in equal first place. Mark Parsons, Stephen Johnson, Ray Lintott and Jim Richards all came through faster than the minimum time, therefore cleaning the day. Another outright contender, Peter Fitzgerald, pushed on too hard. 1993 Porsche 968 RS blew a turbo on the Deloraine stage and limped around Longford, dropping from 3rd to 15th place. Repairs will be made overnight. Jim Richards and Ray Lintott in identical Porsche turbos looked the ones to beat, but the Mazda Australia Motorsport team had shown enough that they would be hard to shake, while it remained to be seen whether Parsons could consistently maintain the pace. The leading Tasmanian was Hobart butcher Lee Mundy in a Porsche RSR. He was 5th, surrounded by regular motorsport competitors. Hobart rally navigator Zara White, who has competed in the Australian Championship in the past 2 years, was navigating for Stephen Johnson. Zara hadn't sat in the car or met Johnson until hours before the event.
I saw the car first on Monday afternoon and just went and sat straight in it and saw what it had and what it didn't have and what I needed in it, and played with seating positions and such, but it feels great now, yeah.
How have you found the first few stages?
Very busy, actually. We're taking it very easy at this stage. There's a long way to go and we're looking after our tyres. But Steve and I work really well in the car, and it's coming along really well. Very happy.
We've got thousands of pieces coming at us.
It's a marathon of thrills, a smouldering success, the most ambitious movie ever made. It's not in cinemas. It's only on Southern Cross. Asteroid premieres Sunday.
Norvac distributors introduce Norvac Gas. Norvac Gas, your first choice for all applications.
And because it's from Norvac, you can be assured of dependability and terrific service. There you go, mate.
All right, thanks.
Because Norvac Gas is big enough to have as much gas as you need and small enough to still care about you. Some might say that sounds a bit like me. Norvac's been around longer than I've been wood chopping, and they're still doing what they do best. Give Norvac Gas a go.
Call your nearest Norvac distributor statewide.
I love this time of year.
Yes, it's that time of year when you can pick up a 3.5-litre GLX Pajero for $39,990.
Did you get a bonus?
He certainly did, on the price of a new express van, just $19,990.
He must have got a decent tax return.
No, he didn't. He got a great deal on a Triton flat tray, starting from $19,990.
We used to do what you're doing, just sitting at home and watching other people have fun. Then we discovered the Oasis.
It was just down the road at our local hotel. I've never been here before. It's lovely. Woo, Stan, will you come over here?
A boy discovered a magic castle. Inside was a bat lord and his knights, a witch, and the smell of rotting birds.
Legomania, the chilling new Batlords from Lego System.
Be courtside this Saturday night at the Devonport Sports Stadium in Forbes Street for the 1997 Continental Basketball Association competition. As national champions, the Bogues Brewers clash with Ballarat. Tip-off is at 8 p.m. with support game at 6 p.m. Support the Bogues Brewers at Devonport this Saturday night and see CBA action at its very best. Sponsored by Coastal Express Line.
Brought to you by 7AD, 7BU, The Advocate and Southern Cross Television.
Targa Tasmania, the state's biggest event, has injected $30 million in new money into the state, spread across the community from hospitality to T-shirts. A 20-fold return on the state government's $200,000 per year sponsorship. It's also a platform for major sponsors, Tattersalls, the Federal Hotels Group, BP Australia and Optus World. Car companies like Toyota showcased new products. Day 2, the Tasman Trundle, 448 kilometres from Launceston to Hobart via the northeast and east coast. From the challenge of the northeast passes to another town with its own Targa stage, Triabunna. Before the northeast passes, an early morning sprint on the outskirts of Launceston to warm up. Most pleased to see the start of the day was Scott Kent. The overnight repairs had the Mustang there for the first stage. The drivers really enjoy today because it begins with the passes of the northeast, and they provide some of the best driving roads anywhere in the world.
It would be nice to go fast on these roads, but it's not allowed for me to go fast. I have to go slow. That's a problem. But it would be nice to do a real race on these roads. It must be fantastic if you really can go fast. And I never have seen it, maybe except once when I have done Mille. Maybe it was a race like this one before. It's very fast, also bends, really, really nice.
Yeah, some people describe these roads as perhaps the best driving roads in the world. You've done a lot of travelling around the world.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a fair assessment of these roads?
Yeah, I think so, because you don't find so fast roads in Europe. If you go to a motorsport event, it's forbidden to have an average speed over 120 in Europe. That means you only can try to find very twisty ones, but not a combination like here, a very fast and nice, smooth fence.
The lineup of Targa cars each year is like a trip down the road of automotive history. The most common car was Porsche. 28 examples ranging from the 356s of the 50s and 60s through the front engine range and to the potent rear-engined 911 RS and turbo models. 6 Ferraris lined up, including Japan's 348 Challenge champion Masayuki Sakamoto, sharing his winning car with Masami Muto. BMWs ranged from this 1969 2002 of Hobart's Peter Cook and Alan Verkrussen through the glorious M3 of Mark Saxby and Martin Rees, and the M5 Touring Saloon in the hands of Steve Gasparinatos and Tony Wilson. Dodge are renowned for producing big cars, and they went around in Targa in a typical big way. The Phoenix of Jeff Zakrzewski and John Voller from Queensland was the event's biggest car.
It is driving. Probably I've driven every brand of car that there is. I'd have to say that this has been the most enjoyable car that I've ever driven.
The smallest car, Jack Waldron's 1955 Fiat Abarth. In 1992, this is what happened to Waldron, suspended in the branches of a tree after going off on the final day. Jaguar's sporting heritage included the flag car and 5 more of the sleek cats, including the E-Type of Aaron Lewis and a trio of the Mark I and IIs. Targa's reputation had spread rapidly to Japan, and Rover was keen to see how the contemporary MGF compared to the older models and against the world's other great cars. 4 1996 MGFs were shipped from Japan and driven by MGF circuit racers. One of the biggest head-turners was the newly Australian-released Lotus Elise.
It's got a 1.8 litre engine, but the main advantage is it handles like a go-kart. It's got almost zero body roll and just massive lateral forces when you're turning. It's not particularly powerful, 120 horsepower, but it's faster than a Porsche Boxster, but a little bit slower than a normal Porsche.
One of the most unusual cars was the 1953 Lancia Aurelia.
It drives beautifully in the Targa with the exception of the brakes, which are very heavy. We don't have disc brakes, so long stages like Rihanna and so on, we come out of those stages without any brakes, and now fingers crossed.
Toyota has won Targa before with their record-breaking and all-conquering Celica GT4. This year, a team of Toyota Celicas were raising money for Camp Quality, an organisation that makes dreams come true for young cancer sufferers.
Basically, we're here to enjoy the Targa Tas, but as a sideline to all that, we believe we can help Camp Quality by raising funds. So we each make a donation to Camp Quality, the 3 drivers of the 3 cars in the team, and half the sponsorship we get for the stickers on the car goes to Camp Quality.
One of the familiar sights in Targa Tasmania over the past 3 years was the Di Tommaso Mangusta of Neil Ashmead and Natasha Oberoi.
Well, I think that Alessandro Di Tommaso will be very proud of us. We're redesigning his road car to work on the road and to work in Tasmania Targa. And we go back 30 years, we'll be able to tell Alessandro how to build a car.
Back to day 2's competition, and the morning's winner Lear stage temporarily halted Justin and Peter Dickman. Bruce Jessop's Platinum Trophy was dashed. A minor water pump problem forced him to miss the morning.
Checked the valve timing after Longford, and we put the water pump belt back on, obviously on the wrong way, and it ran off on the first stage coming out of Launceston.
Disappointment also for the only all-female crew of Cairns' Linda Brannigan and Annie Stone on the Elephant Pass Targa stage. They warned following drivers of the hazard, but just around the corner, Victorians Gary and Mark Tierney slammed into the railing in their 1990 Dax Cobra. From the lunch break at Bicheno, a glorious East Coast cruise to Triabunna. The final competitive stage was Grass Tree Hill on the outskirts of Hobart. Adam and David Kaplan continued to carry a smokescreen for trailing cars. The smoke had now been billowing from the car for a day and a half. Through the haze emerged Ray Lintott in his Porsche 911 Turbo. He was letting out his own signal that was now becoming a spectacular trademark. On this day, the race for outright handicap honours began to unfold. Mark Parsons led from Lee Mundy and Chris and Dee Stephen in their 1964 ISO Revolta. The big charger on day 2 was Peter Fitzgerald. After overnight turbo repairs, he drove his Porsche 968 RS brilliantly to move up to 8th place after starting the day in 15th.
On a lot of the stages, we were sort of matching them. There's a couple of seconds in it, and that's all there is. As I said, that's with our problem. So if we can get rid of those, there's still 3 days to go, so we won't give up till the end.
Tasmanian Lee Mundy slipped from 6th to 9th. Rally favourites Jim Richards and Barry Oliver maintained first place, but with a heart flutter.
We had a problem with a pipe coming off the turbocharger, which meant the motor wouldn't run anything over an idle. But fortunately, we're at the top of the hill. We managed to sort of coast down the hill and we lost 22 seconds. But the time we made up on the other stages, I think, takes care of that. So I think we're still in the lead by a few seconds.
Their lead was 20 seconds. The Mazda Motorsport team entry of Steve Johnson and Zara White moved into second place. Walter Rowe's World Rally Championship experience was shining through as he was solid in 6th place, and with Fitzgerald charging, the top 10 was far from settled.
We've really just got to consolidate now and really try and just keep the pace up, because the Porsche's, they're a fast car, and it's extremely hard to keep up with them. We need more flowing fast corners, would suit our cars really good, but the tighter stuff, the Porsches just really get a big jump on us. So we've got to really keep the pressure up, and you never know, it's only day 2.
Another of the Mazda team, Gary Walden and Tony Jackson, shot into 3rd place. However, a succession of turbo pipe failures potentially cost them 2nd place.
We've been pulling our time back all day in all stages. Actually, I think we're running 2nd at Grasstree after an 8-second deficit yesterday with a slight engine misfire, and you wouldn't believe a turbo hose is blowing on the stage in the top of the hill, and it's cost us 5 seconds.
It's more than a battle of the sexes.
I want Lieutenant Isaacs on tonight's intercept mission.
It's become a fight for survival.
Started too steep.
For compelling drama and explosive action, Jag, 7:30 Saturday on Southern Cross.
Look at all the home loans. They're all the same.
In Tasmania, we're lucky. We have our own building society, and its whole reason for being here is to lend money for housing. Bass & Equitable lends millions of dollars each year to Tasmanians, and Bass & Equitable can offer you a variety of home loan packages. And we're friendly, local people. If you're looking for a home loan right now, come and see us, Bass & Equitable. Our home loans aren't the same.
Norvac distributors introduce Norvac Gas. Norvac Gas, your first choice for all applications.
And because it's from Norvac, you can be assured of dependability and terrific service. How you going, mate? All right, thanks. Because Norvac gas is big enough to have as much gas as you need and small enough to still care about you. Some might say that sounds a bit like me. Norvac's been around longer than I've been wood chopping, and they're still doing what they do best. Give Norvac gas a go.
Call your nearest Norvac distributor statewide.
Okay, Remington haircut kit.
Yes, sir.
Your slash, the $29.90. Move it. You, the Simpson dishwasher. Just $6.69.
Oh, come on, Archie.
And Mr. Panasonic La-di-da wide disc hi-fi system. You've been dropped to $3.99. But you're all reduced from printers to videos to toasters. Now clear out. But you'll only see the 4-day clear out sale in Retrovision, where top brands cost less.
Rex Hunt's fabulous footy flashbacks. Your team's finest moments on video. Flashback to glory. Flashback to heroes. Flashback to the great history-making quarters and legendary highlights from Collingwood, Geelong, West Coast, Essendon, Adelaide, Melbourne, Carlton and St Kilda. Rex Hunt's fabulous footy flashbacks. Flash into these stores for your video now.
You're up very bright and early.
Cool, huh?
Always knew your only taste was in your mouth.
Speaking of great taste, it's time for more fat, juicy sultanas and toasted malty flakes.
I'm reading here that as well as tasting great, Sultana bran is packed with fibre.
That's a good reason to stop.
What? Stop eating Sultana bran?
No, reading.
Kellogg's Sultana bran is nutritious food made tasty.
It's Christmas in Ulverston, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Shop at the participating businesses and you can win $2,000 cash. $500 cash Thursday, win $500 cash Friday, $1,000 cash Saturday. Simply by shopping in Ulverston now.
Dine on our $6 special menu at Cafe on Fenton. Try your luck in Legends Gaming Room or party on at Sinatra's. Live entertainment plus an international theme buffet every Friday and Saturday night. The Gateway Inn, your total entertainment venue in Devonport.
Woodchopping giant David Foster is a true Tasmanian icon. He's risen from a simple competitor to a massive marketable empire. Southern Cross News brings you the story behind our world champion. Tasmania in Focus, Sunday, first at 6.
To day 3 of Targa Tasmania 1997, and although the day is the shortest, it is the most intense. 6 Targa stages on the Optus World Sprint, winding through the Don Tricasто Channel, Huonville and Cygnet regions south of Hobart, a 207-kilometre loop. A day that proves the course becomes more challenging each day. After the early crews had completed the opening stage on Mount Nelson, showers arrived. Intermittent rain brought good news for one group. It made the racing more spectacular for spectators, but drama. On Oyster Cove, rescue crews used the jaws of life to free Japanese visitors Hiromaro Suzuki and Tomiko Hisawa from their Porsche after they careered 30 metres through the bush. Elsewhere, the short distances between competitive Targa stages were taking their toll. But the adamant David Kaplan Commodore just kept on going. Day 3 can change the event dramatically, and it did. Mazda's Gary Walden was in second place when his big chase towards Jim Richards came to an abrupt end on the Cygnet stage.
I'm very disappointed because we were going very well this morning, and I think we're up in either second or third, and I think we're looking fairly good.
Ray Lintot's choice for all-weather tyres for the event was finally paying dividends. He moved up to second, 39 seconds behind Richards. Steve Johnson was third, 51 seconds further back. Mark Parsons was fourth and leading on handicap. Peter Fitzgerald had charged from 9th to 5th place. Local rally driver Les Walkton and Mark Stacey crashed out of the top 10, while the Kobayashi duo were into the top 10.
The next target's Mark Parsons, and we took time off him in the first 2 stages, actually the first 3 stages, and we dropped time on him on 1, and I think we've ended up maybe making little impression. If it was a couple of seconds, that's about all there is, so it's going to be hard from here on in.
The next 2 days, the longest of the event, but one day at a time. Day 4 was from Hobart through the Midlands to Burnie, some of the most difficult Targa stages of the event that can break the strongest challenge. 494 kilometres, 117 of Targa stages. The Domain is just a kilometre from the Hobart city centre and the scene for the first speed test. Great viewing for general spectators and guests in the corporate tents. The Speedwell Mini of South Australian Craig Williams and a hair-raising ride. Little damage and they were able to continue through the remaining Targa stages to Burnie. The Midlands town of Ross was 2.8 kilometres between the houses and paddocks. The stage riddled with traps to catch the young players, many lucky to escape unscathed. Mark Parsons continued to hold on to the handicap lead in usual style. The railway crossing was also just part of the obstacles for Ray Lintott.
Unfortunately, we had a drink bottle, a refreshment bottle come loose in the back, and it was rolling around my feet, and I was trying to drive with all the pedals and everything. It's the drink bottle rolling around my feet. That was pretty interesting. So the navigator had to loosen his seatbelt, reach down and grab it so he could keep going.
A minor problem compared to his crew's marathon effort that kept him in the event.
Well, yesterday we had a gearbox problem. We lost 3rd gear. It was very noisy, actually. We thought we'd lose it. So rather than take a risk, we contacted Porsche Cars Australia in Melbourne, got onto their 2IC of the whole country. And he was kind enough to pull the gearbox apart from a demo. We got it at midnight. The mechanics worked all night, got it back in the car, and here we are today. So we had about 6 mechanics working in the car with no sleep.
The final morning stage, the 10.5 kilometres near Cressy, was through undulating hills, an opportunity for the fast cars to stretch their legs. But the racing so far had just been a form guide. The afternoon of day 4 and all of day 5 are the toughest of the event. All crews had the challenges of the Sathana Targa stage, 38 kilometres, long straights and tight bends. Some took it easy and were able to wave to spectators, but a nightmare for Irishmen Peter Horan and Karen Alderston in their Toyota MR2. Steve Chiodo and Mary Belcher just missed them in the Lotus Elise. On to Wilmot, Guns Plains and Rihanna, a tight twisting ribbon of road resembling a long hill climb. Local knowledge came to the fore in the makeup of the top 10. The quickest Tasmanian combination was Wayne Mundy and navigator Guy Dunstan. They were steady in 5th place. 6 times and current Tasmanian rally champion Bernie's Lynn Rattray was in 8th place in this his 3rd Targa Tasmania. Peter Fitzgerald's comeback charge evaporated. His Porsche 968 RS Turbo overheated on Sathana.
Looks like we're blowing a head gasket again. We thought we cured it this time with our high technology engineering that we put into the car, and it's let us down again.
The end of the Rihanna stage always attracts heaps of lookers, and this is why Damien Durenick began the main act, which also starred Mark Parsons. In the battle for victory, Ray Lintott was praying for divine intervention to keep pace with Richards. But rain never played a hand in the fate of Richards' day 4. On the last Targa stage, his $300,000 Porsche Turbo developed an oil leak and caught fire.
We've got an oil leak at the rear and got a little oil fire, which wasn't a major problem, but of course we couldn't physically drive all the way from town to here, so we've just driven into control, which we must do. So now we'll fix her and get going tomorrow.
Have you lost any time through this?
No.
Vehicle's been going fine up until the oil leak?
Yeah, beautiful. We actually had gained a lot of time, so we'll just see if we can fix the problem and carry on from here.
The Porsche was towed into Burnie. The rope released in time for them to enter the control area under their own steam. That night, organisers applied a 20-minute penalty for being towed. They led only provisionally, with Richards appealing and Lintott and Gacentis possibly new leaders from Johnson and White. Tasmanians Andrew Lawson and Dean Johnson in a Nissan 200 SX shot up to 6th place. Johnson and White clean-sheeted the difficult Sathana stage, seen here passing other cars. They dropped just 1 second on Ross and 7 seconds at Wilmot. Rold was now 4th. Day 4 finished in controversy, but with the Richards and Oliver appeal to be heard, it would be a restless night.
Tonight on Footy's home ground, the West Coast Eagles meet Carlton's Blues. 2 big guns, 8:30 tonight.
She still can't believe she only paid $15,490 drive away for a Mirage at Mitsubishi's end of financial year sale.
$19,990?
Even he finds it hard to believe. Lancer sedan, $19,990 drive away.
Hey, tell a lot about a man by the car he drives.
Watch out, girls. He's an opportunist. He only paid $17,990 drive away for a Lancer Coupe.
Ignore a chip and it could cost you a new windscreen. But it doesn't have to. Windscreens O'Brien can check if it's safe to repair according to the Australian standard, then fix it permanently. And that could save you a lot of money. Call Windscreens O'Brien now.
This university pays you to learn. This university guarantees you a job. This university makes you a leader. The Australian Defence Force Academy. Call 13 1901.
Right, the Samsung 48cm TV.
Yeah?
You're down to $3.99. Say that you, the Sanyo 850 watt vacuum. How does only $85 sound?
Well, I never.
And Phillips, you CD player with can't get you. But you're only $1.95. But I know, but you're all reduced from Kindles to TVs to watches. Now, clear out. Oh, but you'll only see the 4-day clear out sale in Retrovision, where top brands cost less.
You're up very bright and early.
Cool, huh?
Always knew your only taste was in your mouth.
Speaking of great taste, it's time for more fat, juicy sultanas and toasted malty flakes. I'm reading here that as well as tasting great, Sultana bran is packed with fibre. Oh, that's a good reason to stop. What? Stop eating Sultana bran? No, reading.
Kellogg's Sultana bran is nutritious food made tasty.
Race into KFC now and help celebrate the release of Batman and Robin the movie with a $10 Batman bucket. That's 10 pieces of the Colonel's original recipe chicken for just $10. We'll leave a light on for you.
It's Christmas in Ulverston, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Shop at the participating businesses and you can win $2,000 cash. $500 cash Thursday, win $500 cash Friday, $1,000 cash Saturday. Simply by shopping in Ulverston now. The Vinrees Menswear end of financial year sale is now on and you get the bargains. Save on shirts, sports coats, casual trousers, denims, knitwear, business shirts and other selected stock in store now. Vinrees Menswear, Stewart Street, Devonport. Don't be left in the cold.
As cars lined up to begin the final day, Richard's appeal was upheld after a 5 a.m. meeting. He hadn't broken the rules and kept the lead by 1 minute and 31 seconds. He would be hard to beat. Occupying the minds of most was the weather, and the news wasn't good. Well, we've had sunshine for most of the 4 days so far. This is the start of day 5 at Hellyer Gorge, and like most of the other years, it's raining. Day 5, a long haul, Burnie back to Hobart, 515 kilometres, 153 kilometres of Targa stages. The morning Targa stages were driven cautiously in the rain, but day 5 still had the potential to produce a mad dash to the finish line. The Mount Black and Rosebery Targa stages were very slippery. As the day wore on, emotions were mixed. Excitement was building along with disappointment that the event was nearing its finish.
The road stages, and then all of a sudden you're in a Targa stage and you're just zipping along, and then all of a sudden you've got to stop real quick and you're back on the road again, slowing it down a bit. And just looking at the scenery, Tasmania is absolutely beautiful.
Particularly challenging was the 99 bends coming out of Queenstown. Parsons and Belotas put their potential win as the outright on handicap in jeopardy.
We had quite a big accident on Mount Black. We were just coming down the road and we weren't even going really hard. We were out of the corner and accelerating down the straight, and it just bounced off the road to the left. I'm pretty sure something like a tyre might have gone soft or something like that. We're really lucky. It went right off the edge of the road, down in amongst some trees, and something just bounced us back up on the road. Then we went down there into it again. I thought we were gone for all money, and something again just sort of got us back up on the road. Then we shot across the other side, nearly hit the rock wall, and just gathered it in before there. And we sort of, it was real scary, you know, like I wasn't really, we were just along for the ride. And when we sort of back up on the road, we were still going along in fourth gear. We wouldn't have lost 2 seconds in the incident. And then we sort of obviously eased off the rest of the stage, which was only a short distance away. Probably only lost about 10 seconds on the stage.
And they were down to no spare tyres and the diff was slightly damaged. They moved to 3rd place overall after Stephen Johnson had a minor off on Mount Arrowsmith, which cost valuable penalty time. The final Targa stages were completed without serious incident. Richards trod warily, but could now afford to be cautious. The sun came out for the final two Targa stages, Ellendale and the car park of the Royal Derwent Hospital. Over 85% of the field completed the final day and the event by arriving in convoy at a gala finish at Hobart's Rest Point Casino. The category winners were honoured first. Parsons and Belotus took first in the outright handicap, ahead of Chris and D. Stephen in the ISO Revolta, followed by David Cooper and Jeff Duggan in a 1969 Datsun 2000 Sports, ahead of Paul and Christine Freestone in their 1958 Austin Healey. The crowd then cheered the overall winners. Victory in Targa Tasmania 1997 to Jim Richards and Barry Oliver.
Congratulations, Jim. A wonderful thing to win the event for the second year in a row.
Yes, it is. Yes, it's. I suppose it was harder this year because we had a few little dramas along the way, but we overcome them, and with some help from other competitors and the service crews that were around, we managed to get here in the end. So it was good.
Well, Barry, being a Tasmanian, you've loved motorsport all your life, and to win this event not once but twice, what a thrill.
Well, it's a very proud moment for me, quite frankly. Just to be able to compete in Targa Tasmania is very special in itself, and I guess this really puts the icing on the cake to be able to say, well, a Tasmanian has been part of another victory in Targa Tasmania.
Richards and Oliver won by 1 minute and 56 seconds, ahead of Ray Lintott and Fred Gacentis, runners-up for the second successive year. Parsons was 4 minutes and 38 seconds further back in third, just 3 seconds ahead of Steve Johnson and Zara White. Fifth place went to Germany's twice World Rally champion Walter Roll. Vaughan Guthrie and Stephen Mills finished in the top 10 for the second successive year. Porsche had 4 cars in the top 10, Mazda 3, while Toyota continued to mix it with Europe's best with a finisher in the top 10. The 6th running of Targa Tasmania was complete, a year which continued to enhance the event's reputation as an attraction for amateur drivers and professionals. The world's ultimate tarmac rally.
Targa Tasmania 1997, proudly presented by your local Mitsubishi dealer, Bass and Equitable, and Norvac Gas statewide.
On Southern Cross's must-see Sunday, we didn't practice with this stair. And we didn't with this one either. Because sometimes even practice goes wrong. Now for the real thing. Who Dares wins Sunday on Southern Cross.
Hello again, and in tonight's news, a new report is calling Tasmania's planning laws some of the best in the country, despite recent criticism. The report says there's a general lack of understanding of the law by local and state government and the general community. Potential bidders for Tasrail toured the state today, travelling by rail from Hobart to Burnie. The interest follows Monday's Senate approval of the sale. The new owner should be known in 6 weeks. Australian tourism officials are confident visitors from Hong Kong will increase after Britain hands the island back to China. All is in readiness for Monday night's handover, which will bring to an end yet another British colony. The quality of our state's water was under the microscope at a Water Watch seminar in Latrobe today. And in sport, Tasmania's cricket chiefs, a confident star opener Jamie Cox will turn down requests to play for Victoria. The TCA confident it can match any offer. That's all the news for now. Good night.
Friday Night Football, proudly presented by your local Mitsubishi dealer, Guns Limited, Robert Ferguson, Wills Rentals, Budget and Rebel Liquor combined, Wins, McDonald's and Coca-Cola.